So in addition to Belize's commitment in mitigation, Belize's enhanced NDC adds an array of adaptation actions really designed to build critical systems and resilience in sectors such as land use, human settlements, infrastructure, forestry, and biodiversity. The revised NDC really includes focus on new gases such as methane and nitrous oxide. It adds specific implementation timeframes, so looking at key targets for 2025, 2026, 2030 in our commitments. It includes details on costing of mitigation and adaptation actions. So for example, while our total costing for implementation of our NDCs is around $1.9 billion, with the recoverable costs from energy and the waste sector, we're going to see a cost of about $1.24 billion. Belize's updated NDC also includes information on NDC financing, which is very important for us. There's currently investments in developing a climate finance strategy, as well as for us, we're building out a national monitoring, reporting, and verification system. This will really help us to track our targets and achievement. This MRV system, as it's called, will also be accompanied by a 5-year implementation plan so that we can continue to track our achievements and our targets as part of this NDC, which we think is very critical for us. So Belize is proud of a few important elements as part of this new NDC. For instance, our business as usual an NDC scenario for the projections in agriculture, forestry, and other land use sectors were conducted based on national data. Therefore, the mitigation targets for this sector were more accurate and they really informed the various priority sectors such as broadleaf forests and mangrove rehabilitation. Secondly, we're proud of the fact that this new updated NDC includes a quantified mitigation targets for agriculture, which we think is significant because it contributes around 63% increase in GHG removals as it relates to the AFOLU sector. As part of this new NDC, Belize is pledging to increase protection of mangroves by more than 12,000 hectares and to rehabilitate more than 4,000 hectares of mangroves by 2030. Really depending on the availability of technical and financial support. Well, the updated NDC included a cross-scale and cross-sector collaborative process that we think really strengthened the 2016 updated NDC. So throughout this process, the NDC update was validated through engagement with a cross-section of technical leads from government, NGOs, and civil society. This ensured that mitigation and adaptation targets were informed by scientific data and that actions were aligned with national policies, strategies, and action plans. The NDC Partnership was very important as the NDC Partnership and its members play a critical role in the updating of the current NDC. All international entities really work together in coordination with our National Climate Change Office, with support from agencies like IRENA, the Climate Technology Center, Vivid Economics, the UNFCCC's Regional Collaboration Center in Grenada, and among others, to really strengthen the updating process. In the updating of the revised NDC, we wanted a process that was collaborative and that had stakeholder engagement. At the onset, we engaged stakeholders from various sectors, including private sector, civil society, and NGOs, as well as embracing a subsidiary principle that even at the level of communities, we will have participation. From July to September 2020, stakeholders were consulted, taking on a very targeted and collaborative approach. There were focus group sessions of relevant stakeholders on emerging topics such as green buildings, sustainable land reform, and tourism. In addition to Belize's priority in achieving its mitigation target, Belize's focus will be on climate change adaptation. As a member of the Small Island Developing States Group, or a big ocean nation, Belize is exceptionally vulnerable to natural disasters and the impacts of climate change. Our topography as a low-lying coastal nation and our geographical location makes Belize exposed to the risk of rising sea levels and increasing frequency of tropical storms. As such, Belize will seek to build out adaptation in our coastal zone and marine resources to improve sustainable agriculture mechanism, strengthening our fisheries and aquaculture sector, invest in sustainable tourism to support our economy, as well as improve forestry and biodiversity adaptation. Very important for Belize will be to secure financing to improve our adaptation options. For instance, more than $316 million in funding is required to meet our adaptation in mangrove protection and reforestation alone. Furthermore, more than $146 million in funding requirements is needed to meet adaptation in other sectors. As such, Belize is expected to build out its investment and mechanisms for its adaptation framework so as to meet these adaptation targets.